Fortune lady told my mama before I saw the sun, said your boy's gonna love too hard and break more than one.
Take a glance at this paperwork before we get into the video. Crazy stuff. Man, look at the finance rate, 14%. You guys think 6% is high? Seriously? Okay. Well, I do remember a time when 10 to 12 to 14% was kind of normal. And, you know, we paid it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I will be talking about my 1979 Ford Mustang. My boys, my wife. She's so beautiful. You know, I met her in that 1992 GT, and a lot of you came back for this video, for these videos on these Mustangs. Maybe me, maybe the boys. Look, this Mustang is special because it's one of the last ones me and my boys built together completely. This car came from a guy who it was bought when he was 16 years old. His dad transferred it to him when he turned about 20. And I got a photo of that, and I can go over that as well. And I've got the original photo when, I don't know when he took the picture of this car, but I got the Polaroid. If you know what a Polaroid picture is, I have that. And I actually, you probably saw that on the intro. That car sitting in some driveway with the original TRX wheels sitting on it. The wheels you see on this car are repops. But this car is special in as much as this isn't something that I built, right? Because I built a lot of cars before I had kids. Now, as a young man, I was learning, and that may appeal to some of you, and doing things from just the old scratch, you know, under the shade tree, the nitty gritty stuff. This car was built in my well, it's 24 by 40 shop, not anything big. It's beside my house. We live in a little small community, and so what's not built as a job or profession. And my sons would be out, they're homeschooled. So they would be out at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, sandblasting brackets for the engine, working on things. You see, a lot of these pictures that you're going to see are either before school and class or after classes, late in the evenings. And something we call December to remember, because I would take off a couple of weeks in December right there at Christmas and spend time with them. But we're building cars. We're out there doing things. And they're doing a lot of the, what I call heavy lifting, bulk of the work, because I wanted them to be able to do these things on their own later. And without me, something were to happen to me, they had a skill they could rely on and depend on. Never know. And they're using it now. We could talk about what they use their skills for, because I will tell you, some of the other vehicles and some of the other videos and shorts that I've put out are them owning their cars before they even had a license. And how did they do that? Well, I paid them to help me. This is not just me having my boys do things and build me a car. We're building us a car. And we can go to shows. We can do things, right? And spend time together. So that's what this video is about. So I'm about to show you some things, and I'm going to try to start at the roots of the car and where it's at today, but I may pepper a few things in between to answer some questions. And I hope you enjoy it. Okay, guys, I got to redo this section of the video. This is about as raw as it gets. This is my build book. You're in my office. Okay, I won't pan around too much, and I'll tell you why. It's not due to my privacy right now. I uploaded this video already once and got a little warning. I'm just going to kind of come around here from YouTube right there. And so it, in fact, I'll back away a little bit. I'll show you what this is my workspace right here. Okay. And YouTube does not like addresses on documentation, which I understand that. I respect that. So anyway, can't read this document right here anyway. There's not a lot on it. It's a disclosure form. There's really no address. You can't even read the print on it. You know, if there's an address, it's just to the Ford dealership. I want to say that clearly so YouTube can understand it. I've already pulled these out, but this is my build book. Everything I've gotten for this car is in here. So I got to be quick, and tell you what I'm going to do you know, I'm gonna flip the camera over this way just to be really sure things lined up. Hey, there's an alignment spec when I got the car aligned on the 20th of April there. And we align it to this Mustang specs, 94, 95, okay? Caster and camera things, it's got a K-member in it. You want as much caster as you can get. Here's the original photo of the car. I'm gonna try to cover up this guy's address, and you know, there's the Ford dealership address, and that's public. So hopefully Ford will not, you know, throw that at me. And the insurance company address is on there, but it's public information, right? If you want to know where the central bank is, or I don't know how, I'm gonna upload this video and try it. But I wanted to point something out here on this document. That car was, they financed 58, 57. Looks like the sticker was in the 66, 57, which agrees with my build sheet that I got on this car. That's the build sheet from Marty Reports, right? I think I've already posted part of that. But look at the insurance for the finance credit, the credit life. Look at what percentage of that is the price of the car. Think about that. Today, just add a 0 instead of 5,800, 5,857. Just put a 0 at the end of that 7, because that's what a new Mustang will cost you today, equipped like this. Do we also want to put a 0 there for insurance? Wow, for credit, just for credit life. All right, I'm gonna pan away. Make sure things line up good here. So, no address other than the Ford dealer address. YouTube, if you're listening, algorithm or AI, whatever's doing that. These are the down payments that they made. And this is in 1970, what, 8 October? Okay. And we have the original, I know this has got some of the address, so I'll hide that. This has got the, you know, identity plate for the car. But this guy was making down payments on the car. So I'm gonna pan back over. And wow, look at the interest rate we had. You know, we were at the what, 14%, 14.34% back then. And so let me get over there. Here's the installment contract. So I'll hide the address here, come back, and there's your 14%. Down there, 14.3. All right, so now we've got the title, original title. I will hide the address, all right, for that. And let's get that out of the way. And here's another one when it was transferred to his son. Those are copies of the title, not the original title, by the way. So this is some wiring that I updated in the car. Let's hide this title stuff. Now, build sheet. I won't spend too much time in this folder, but I do want to show you the build sheet on this car. I found this, usually it's under the passenger seat. And I've never seen one of these in one of these cars, just the early car. So it talks about, you know, what all's in the car, what it's built with. And, you know, there you go. Car does have a Dakota digital dash, booklet on that, Holley Sniper fuel injection. So it's a pretty raw video, but I just kind of wanted to show you how I document this car. It's how I document my builds. And I did want to point out one thing on this paperwork. Just a kind of a funny, really. Okay, so this paperwork, notice these copies. I don't know why it smells this way. You ever pull paperwork out and it has a certain odor? If you're from the 80s generation, grew up in the 80s, do you remember being in school and those photocopier drums, and you know, your teacher would go get copies made before, this was before the black and white copies. You know, it would always be blue, maybe some black ones, but you'd have blue ink on the copies. She'd bring the paper to the room and it had a cool feeling to it because the chemicals or whatever were doing their thing, evaporating. And it had an odor, a smell to it. That's what this stuff smelled like when I pulled it out of the envelope and prepared for this. Just thought I'd take you back because I remember when our school changed around the early 80s, 82, 83, somewhere in there, to the Xerox machine or whatever you want to call it, the black and white. The paper came out hot and it had no odor. It was just like, okay, fun's over, you know. Just a funny little trivia thing here. I'm gonna go over my workstation a little bit here, guys. Here, I'm using DaVinci. I use ChatGPT to tell me how to use DaVinci sometimes, right? And over here, hey, that's my Facebook. I'm looking at a steakhouse that puts out really good ads, and one of the best steakhouses around here. And, you know, I got my little pictures and things. I do my YouTube uploads over here, and security cameras pop up and things like that over here on these other screens for the house and the place I have here. So anyway, here we go. I just thought it'd be a little bit raw to show you guys. I've worked on a lot of cars, and a lot of friends do this. Keep a book and the history of the car. So if I were ever to sell this car, something were to happen to me, this would transfer with the car. It would kind of go with it, and they would have all this original history from the point it was purchased, where it passed through me, and on to the next guy. All right, you're in my office. I'm showing my photos to you on the wall here. That's where that car was built, in that shop, okay? Beside that house, and you've seen in some of my other videos, this is just a little collage hanging on the wall, some cars I've owned. Hey, there's my Coyote car. My little Toyota pickup that I traded my 1992 GT on, worst mistake ever. And again, if you haven't seen the video, it is this car right there. Me and my wife standing next to it. That's how I met my wife in that Mustang. Here's the Marty report. It is a 1 of 1. That means a lot to some people. I've got 3 Mustangs that are 1 of 1. What are the odds of that? So I don't know. It's kind of cool, but original window sticker, right? 6657, which we just saw in the finance paperwork. This car was built in a shop where that Mustang is sitting right there. Now, notice the cedar tree, okay? Let's come all the way back over here. I don't make you guys dizzy. Well, that's the cedar tree. I had trimmed the tree up, and you can see in some other videos where I built cars under that tree. There's the said tree, okay? I'll go over this later. This is just hanging on my back office wall. All right, so let's get right into the build. So I thought I'd show you guys an early Defect, an early model 78 into 79. These first few runs of Mustang had these bumper covers that in certain temperatures, predominantly in my experience, was somewhere between 35 and say 42, 45 degrees at the most. Had to be moist or wet outside. And the headlight buckets would just draw up and the bumper would deform itself. I had another bumper cover laying around that was from an 82 style GT, the slant bumpers. I really love those grills. The car came to me with the lower half already and it was in good shape. That grill came from a friend of mine who just preserved the grill, and he had it sitting around, and I gave him like 75 bucks for it and put it right on. Now I want you to notice, you may see this car in several different pictures with different wheel and tire fitments. At first I had a set of 15-inch wheels on it, what we call commonly phone dials. Then I went to the turbine, and then I went to some TriStars. I don't know. These were like 96, 98 GT wheels. No, you know what? They were like 95 GT wheels. Then I went all the way back to the TRX repop with a little shorter tire because that front splat would get ripped off. Remember, guys, those splats were redesigned. I think it was in 91 when Mustang came out with the pony wheels with the 16-inch. So they redesigned the front leading edge of the fenders to accommodate that larger wheel and tire package. These cars, you didn't have that freedom. I didn't want to change a car that much. I wanted to keep it closer to original and a 4-lug wheel, that kind of thing. I was not looking for an all-around modded car. I wanted to keep it close to how it would have been in 1979. All right, there's Jordan pulling the dash out. Got all the air conditioner controls, complete with glove box. Not a big deal for these guys at this point in their age. He's able to go in and get ready to do the dash mat, application for sound deadening, that kind of thing. I'm not exactly sure how many different brands of product we used on this car. There were a few. That was a little thicker material there for the firewall. Back here in the rear of the car, depending on where we went with it, I went with a little different material. Kill mat looks like is what we're using there. Even into the trunk pan headliner just past the sunroof, even into the doors. And I want you guys to consider this car. I'm having to bounce around a little bit in these photos. This car was taken to the bare metal. So they had to take everything off this car at some point. The engine, transmission, all the wiring, the rear end, things like that. And really get this car down to a complete bare bones, minimal rolling chassis. So we just had to start, taking piece by piece off in the driveway. There's the engine in it, all the assembly, drain the oil, all the fluids, there the engine's out. Start working on things to get ready for paint. There's new suspension going in, right? So there's a lot of things these guys had to know end to end on this car. There's Cameron. He's taking the rear bumper cover off, looks like. Jordan's taking out part of the interior. There's new carpet getting ready to go in. If I had to guess, we had a heat gun that morning because it was probably cool to stretch that carpet out. There's a seat frame. Jordan sandblasted those and did a really good job refinishing them. Seat foam's going in. Nice little work table to work on there. I noticed the temperature on the back wall in that picture. Seat foams, old. Wow. Just, Jordan did a great job getting those cleaned up, didn't he? Right here's the seat. The covers come from LMR. TMI, I believe, is the company that produced them. They do a really good job. The seats going back in the car there. We actually put heated seats in these cars. All right, so the guys are always doing the final torque specs, doing the intake, head bolts, things like that. We're not engine builders, but we're engine assemblers. The difference is we don't do machine work and things like that. There's our blue room, we call it. The room was about 16 by 34 feet, really insulated really well. Did go back with a Holley Sniper fuel injection on this car. Hey, this is why we call it the blue room right here. We've got the mood lighting set. Just thought we'd just step back and take a few pictures. Lighting always sets a good mood, right? How about a project board? Do you guys ever write your things down on the whiteboard in your shop? All right, well, there's the finished product right there. Hope you guys did enjoy this, but bonus, can anyone tell me where this restaurant is? It's in Holly Springs, Mississippi. It's a great place to get burgers. We always enjoy driving our projects there. All right. Hey, I got to say thank you. Really, really want to thank you guys so much. 29 new subscribers especially. That last video, 1992 Mustang GT, the car that started it all, right? That's what got me into this. How I met my wife. Well, that's how I got kids, right? What I will be doing is where we are now, okay? Who's working on what we're doing, hands-on, actually doing things. I did buy these mic things. Probably, I hope I don't swear. If I do, I'll cut that out. I try not to swear when I'm working on cars. So on that note, I'll say good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever, wherever you are, because I know YouTube is global. Hope you enjoyed it.